everybody, it's Alan Brochstein speaking to you about Cannabis Stocks from Houston, Texas. I run 420 Investor at Seeking Alpha, and as well as New Cannabis Ventures, which is free to you. This was a interesting week. I'll talk more about the market, but as bad as it was for stocks in general, our sector did okay. The big news this week that I shared with my subscribers was Illinois released their July adult use sales, and they were up 3.2% from a year ago, which seems pretty low. And they actually fell sequentially on a per day basis from June. I wrote one piece at Seeking Alpha, and the title of it was Why I Am Still Avoiding Cannabis Stock Verano Holdings for Now. And you can read that for free. In terms of the 27 names that I follow closely, a few of them reported we're in earnings season, and that was for two of them, and actually for three. So the first news was really big, and I have to admit I was kind of surprised. Columbia Care announced that Cresco Labs and it had mutually terminated their pending merger. That merger was announced near the beginning of 2022. It was taking forever, and I figured they would work it out. But the problem wasn't between them. It was the states. The states have stupid rules about trying to keep the operators limited by either production size, the number of dispensaries, all that. And I'm a capitalist, and I'm for capitalism, and they're not. And so anyway, I have had a massive position in Columbia Care, and I did trim it this week. It did very well. Columbia Care also announced they were one of the ones that went public through the SPAC process on the NEO, and they retained their NEO listing, but also took on a more popular Canadian Securities Exchange, CSE listing. This week they announced that they dropped the CSE and are just going to be on what is now known as the CBOE Canada. What is CBOE Canada? Well, the CBOE, the Chicago Board of Options Exchange, bought NEO, a Canadian exchange, and I think it's a hint that Columbia Care could become the first U.S. cannabis operator to list on a major exchange in the United States. Now, this is my speculation, but they did talk about a little bit about it. And also this week, Columbia Care now opened its 6th Virginia dispensary. Another piece of news, not big in my opinion, was Green Thumb Industries, GTI, opened another Las Vegas dispensary. Earnings news out of IIPR, they beat expectations, didn't really rally much. Organigram launched some new pre-rolls. Planet 13 launched a new app for ordering. Scott's Miracle-Gro was the earnings story of the week. The stock dropped 21% during the week. They missed and they took down their outlook for 2023. I don't think that's a cannabis story. They have a big business that's non-cannabis. And their cannabis operations grew a lot sequentially, but not year over year. Trulieve relocated a Florida dispensary. And finally, related to earnings, TerrAscend pre-announced its Q2 and gave guidance that was a little bit better than what the analysts were expecting, and the stock did absolutely nothing. You can read my piece on New Cannabis Ventures tomorrow where I talk about that a little bit. I mentioned earlier that the performance for cannabis stocks was pretty good this week, and it was unchanged, which doesn't sound great, but the S&P 500 was down 2.3%. I have been telling my subscribers at 420 Investor to be very careful about cannabis stocks in general, especially if the overall market gets hit, which I think will happen. That's not the topic of our conversation today. But be on the lookout. If stocks are weak, it's not going to reverse what we've been seeing, which is cannabis stocks go down when other stocks go up. The opposite is not true, in my opinion. There are a lot of reasons cannabis stocks have been going down. It's not because stocks are going up. And if stocks go down, they're not going to go up. I hope that's clear. So year to date, the S&P 500 is up 16.6%, and we're down 16.5%. That's a big spread, 33%. Huge. And I run 2 model portfolios. You can read the piece. It was a good week. I'm not going to sit here and pat myself on the back because I'm not having a good year with my model portfolio performance. I'm very happy with my model portfolio positions, but not the performance. But that's just the way it is. And I conclude this video each week with a discussion of the calendar. And I'm going to make you read my piece that I published last night. It has a lot of conference calls, or just go to New Cannabis Ventures where we list the holdings, the securities that are going to be hosting calls or reporting their earnings. And so with that, have a nice week, everybody. Take care.